Hello again. Okay, let's get straight to our story. In my last video, I promised you I would tell you about my trip to Idyllwild, California. Well, I had been staying in Arizona for several weeks, and I was in Yuma getting a tan, out in my shorts, and then going into Southern California. I thought, okay, it's probably just a tad cooler over there. But as long as I stay south, it's still going to be nice and toasty. See, because where I come from, it was cold this time of year. So um, I I arrive into California coming from Arizona and arrive in Palm Desert and start heading west, I believe. And soon I came to realize that I was going up the mountains, and I don't like driving up mountains. They're had lots of twists and turns and cliffs, and very dangerous and scary for a first time tour. I did not enjoy that, but I remained optimistic. So as I continued up the hill, the snow started to increase, and I came to I thought, well, I'm up in the hills, and so there's a little snow, no big deal. But then it got more and more and more and more, and then some on the road, and yeah, it was packed snow by the time I really got into those hills. Okay, so I just kept going and going and going, and it was snowy, and I thought, okay, this is gonna be interesting. But see, I don't have alternatives because I'm flat broke. I spent all my money on gas and motels before I got my trailer, so uh, and supplies. So I'm going because it's the only alternative that I have. So it was much longer than I ever imagined it would take. So by the time I got to the actual city of Idyllwild, um, I it was jam-packed snow, and the gate was open, and I had called previously the store. I don't remember the reason, but or no, I don't think I called. I just looked. Yeah, I looked. Okay. I looked for the. Uh, I did a search for the store to the campground to get location, and it was closed. And I didn't think anything of it because a lot of times campgrounds close their stores. They're just only open during certain hours on special days. And then I just ignored that little red flag. And then by the time I got to the check-in gate, the gate was wide open. There was nobody in the little box, and there was nobody in the store. And so I just went right in. But before I did, I also noticed there was no little welcome packet, which usually in this campground they give you a little welcome packet, which gives you the gate code and so forth. No little welcome packet with my name on it. I just went in because, once again, I have no alternatives. So I proceed to go up this hill, and I get stuck in the snow. And the employee guy says, "Oh, are you Tammy?" "Oh, yeah. Well, I can't. Your reservations were canceled. I called you twice on your phone, left messages, and sent you an email." Oh, great, lovely. Yeah. So you have to leave. Tell me I gotta go. And uh, so I'm stuck. And so basically, what the guy said was, he said, "Well, you can park down this little hill. I'll clear, if we clear a space, you could probably stay there for the night." And okay, so Anyway, meanwhile, I was calling my car insurance, trying to get somebody to come tow me out of there. And they were all wanting cash up front. And then it was just a nightmare. And then um, okay, so that guy leaves. And then another employee comes around and he says, I cleared a spot for you. You need to back down the hill and go, go to get out of the situation. I says, well, I'm not qualified to do that. I'm a brand new tower. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't even back that thing out now on a flat surface, without snow and a hill. I mean, it's just ludicrous, the idea for me to do that. And I thought, oh, there's a nice fifth wheel just in the next camping spot. Wouldn't it be horrific if I lost control of the whole situation and crashed into that, costing me thousands of dollars after they take me to court? So I said, no, thanks. I'm going to pass on this one. So I called the police because there have been problems other times in campgrounds, and uh, if an employee asked somebody to do something unreasonable, and I didn't want to deal with any of that, and I thought I'm going to hold them accountable because I don't want to get myself in that situation. So I called him and I says, this guy's asking me to do something I believe is unsafe. So so then he kind of went his merry way. And meanwhile, I was still in limbo about finding, a tow company to come pick me up. And there was this third guy that I don't know who he was or where he was from, but I don't think he was an employee of the campground. He could have been a member of the campground, had a membership, or just visiting. Who knows who he was? But he was hanging out with his son. He had a tow strap. And the second campground employee, he got stuck in the snow with his truck. And the tow strap guy pulled him out. And the irony is that the tow strap guy had like asked him or mentioned to him, telling him what he was doing. If maybe he asked permission if he could help me out and tow me out help me with the tow strap or do whatever. And he told me about this, and he said that the employee guy, he didn't care. And so I think the second employee was not very empathetic to my situation. And so anyway, moving on. But the first guy wasn't like that. Yeah, just FYI. But anyway, so the tow strap guy came to help me out, and he towed my trailer down to my spot, and then he towed my car too, both there. So there I was. I had a place to stay overnight. And just to let you know how cold it was, the walls were ice, and the curtains were stuck to the windows with frost on them. And the next morning when I emptied my pee bucket, it was frozen. I had a pee sickle. And I was like shivering all night. It was really cold. And I had the heater on all night. I had 2 heaters at the time. I have another one now. But I didn't use the big one because my breaker had been flipping before. I only have, I believe now, that I have like a 15 or 16 amp cord or hookup or whatever. And Yeah, that's another thing I really don't like. But anyway, um, so I only used the small heater, which wasn't enough. I mean, it kept me from freezing to death, but it did not keep me warm. And the other thing was clearance. Uh, I was too cold, and it was getting too late, and I didn't want to have to deal with it. I would have to move a bunch of stuff out of the way. I wasn't really prepared for that night. Um, and so that's another reason why I didn't use the big heater, because I had to move a bunch of stuff out of the way, and I don't even think I knew where it was. And so because I had used it before when I was in Cottonwood, Arizona, uh, but not in Yuma. I had put it away. So, okay. So, anyway, yeah. Next morning, um, I was still considering, getting a tow company to get me out of the park. I had to get out of there. And so along comes Mr. Toe Strap, uh, sledding with his son. And I'm like, hey, can you help me? And here he comes along. And okay, so he tows my trailer out of the park, and we like meet at the by the gas station or whatever. And he says, "Well, you drive the car and put it in 4-wheel drive." I didn't know how to use 4-wheel drive, so he showed me how to do that. Turn it over to the four. Okay, simple enough. He says, "And don't use your brake." Don't use my brakes. Are you kidding? So, but yeah, it worked out fine. I couldn't believe how easy it was. Unbelievable. So that's what 4-wheel drives are for. So anyway, so I drove out of there easy as a breeze, and met up with him outside of the park. He hooked me up, which I could have done myself, but that's okay. Um, all done. I had nothing to give him, and he like had like this Russian type accent, and I asked him, well, how did you learn how to do all that? And he says, well, I got myself out of many situations, and because I was hoping to hear some story about, the cold winters in Russia. I don't know. I've watched anyway Russian movies. So anyway, I looked to see if he had a ring on, and he did, because he was pretty cool, pretty nice guy. So so off he went, and for all I know, he was an angel. Yeah, you know, I still don't know. I don't know where he came from. If he wasn't an employee, where did he come from? Where was he going? I don't know. But what I want to say about that story was it was a terrible night for me. And I had a splitting headache the day of the first day, and the next morning was sunshiny, and the birds were chirping, and it was nice and light and bright and beautiful, and it was a new day, and um, it was, but it wasn't didn't stop being scary until I got out of that park. But anyway, um, so what I want to say was, that trip, that even though it was hell for me, I froze all night long. I was shivering all night with the blankets over me, and I was way colder than I was um, earlier when I had been in Utah. Cedar City, I believe. I stopped in Cedar City, Utah, because it was too windy. I pulled over the side of the road, stayed at a Love's with no heat, and was staying under the covers, and I was fine. I was warm as long as I was under the covers. It was still cold, but there so no heater at all over there, And in this situation, I had used the small heater, and I was much colder. So, but I remember it was like late afternoon. It said like 17. So I can only imagine what it was, all night. It probably got down 10 or below 10. Cold. Yeah, very cold. And so it was a mixed blessing. Yeah. Um, it was a terrible night, but God sent an angel to come rescue me. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, so whenever I'm being pessimistic, I can always look back on this story and remember how God was looking out for me. Yeah, send somebody to help me. Yeah, so there you are. That's my Idyllwild story. And by the way, getting out of Idyllwild, I went right back to Palm Desert, which was warm and sunny, and I just would have avoided the whole thing if I'd have known. But that's kind of how life is. We get to learn the hard way. Okay, so that's the end of that story, and I'll see you in my next video with the next story. Bye.